Hello, welcome to this section of Talking Tech, Women and Girls in ICT. My name is Judy and I'm excited to be having a discussion about tech and tech careers with Charlene Liu. She co-founded Ladies Who Tech in 2016, a social impact community for women in STEM, and in 2019, D&I Consulting, a consultancy which helps corporates cultivate a more inclusive culture. Talking Tech is a series celebrating girls and women in tech, being recorded around the world between Girls in ICT Day 2020 and Girls in ICT Day 2022. Girls in ICT Day is an international day marked on the first Thursday of each April. In 2022, Girls in ICT Day was held in April the 22nd. The objectives of Girls in ICT Day are to help create a global environment that encourages girls and young women to consider study and careers in the growing field of information and communication technologies. The Talking Tech series is brought to you by the ITU, UNICC, and the Office of the UN Secretary General Envoy on Youth, and is in support of EQUALS, the global partnership for gender equality in the digital age. The goal of this series includes to interest and inspire girls and younger women with information about a range of ICT careers that can be had. Bring before a broader audience some of the role model women in tech and share information about their career journeys and work. Offer diverse examples of how ICT is being used to support achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals and other UN goals. Showcase initiatives that are working with girls to support semi-ICT studies on future ICT careers. Provide girls and young women in tech with a leadership opportunity to present and promote a grow in tech organization with which they are involved and promote it to a broader international audience. As we can see, a more gender-balanced tech sector is a new trend and people are working towards it. So I'm delighted to now shift to a conversation with Charlene. So first, when and how did you get into technology and what was your path from then to now?
Sure. Thank you very much, Judy, and really excited to be on this talking series with you. To answer your question, I think we need to go back in history. I am from Malaysia. I was born in Malaysia, grew up there. And when I was in school, I became very interested in electronics, right? And back then I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and in the 80s I was in high school. I really liked to help out in the school PA system, PA meaning the personal announcement system, and it has a lot of wirings and a lot of like electronics that you play around with. I was so interested then, and I asked my science teachers, I'm really interested in electronics, like what can I do as my work? And my science teacher said, well, go be an engineer. So I was like, whoa, be an engineer? For me back then, being engineering, it was like the boy stuff, right? I think till now, a lot of people still think it's the boy stuff. It's very male dominated. But I thought that, why not, right? Just give it a try. So I was really excited. And I brought home this idea. I told my mom about it. I told my family about it. My mom was like, study whatever you want, as long as you are interested in it. And as long as you can be clever enough to get a scholarship. Unfortunately, also at the same time, other members of my family, especially the men, would say, oh, this engineering, it's not for girls. It's only for boys. You will never make it. So for me, I guess I was a little bit rebellious, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to prove the people who said that I couldn't do it wrong. So I did. So fast forward to the early 1990s, I packed my bag and I traveled halfway around the world from Malaysia to the US and pursued my studies in electrical engineering. And I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in electrical engineering. Then my first job was back in Malaysia in the semiconductor manufacturing industry. And then I stayed on in this sector, in this semiconductor/electronics sector for 20 years. And in between, I was in the solar panel industry as well. So, sometimes when people tell you you cannot do it and then you do it, and then at the end you realize, wow, you spent half of your life proving or at least being somewhere that other people thought that you couldn't be at. So that's a little bit of a long history reply to your question.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. So when you are getting into the past, so you must meet some challenges maybe. So how do you overcome them?
Yeah, I think in life there are and there will be many challenges, and challenges come in different forms, sizes. I think every time we come to it, there's a series of reaction, right? How you react to it. First is like, oh, you're not happy with it. Of course, you're upset with it, or you are sad about it. And then the next point is, do you give up or do you not give up? Right? And then if you do not give up, you have to find your own resources to overcome it. At the same time, also, I remember this advice that my uncle gave me when I was about to go to study. And he said, for whatever things that you do or you plan to do, you also need to think about what the possible consequences will be. And then so you kind of preempt or possibly either prevent the challenges, or you at least know how you will have backup plans to overcome whatever comes your way. The other point is that is very important about overcoming challenges is don't be afraid to ask, right? And it's okay to ask someone to help or to get support from people around you. I think that has helped me very much over the years. I won't say that I know everything. I hope that I can say that I know many things, but I don't know everything. So overcoming challenges is really, you don't need to do it yourself. You don't need to overcome it yourself. You can get help and getting support. Support also comes from working with each other, right? It's like when your friends support you, you support them back. So it's mutual.
Yeah, it's really given me a new opinion because when I was young, I always think studying technology is very hard and I cannot overcome the challenges. So I gave up. But you give me a new opinion, I think. So what do you like best about your job or your path in the technology?
Well, I worked in manufacturing, right? So in manufacturing, you put together things basically from raw materials and you put them together, you can see the end product. And I'm always so proud when an end product comes out. I give you an example when I was in the solar panel business. So you have all these raw materials, you see all the things coming together in the factory line, and then you see actually the final product coming out ready, all packed and all ready to go for shipment inside the warehouse, right? That is, I think, one of the best moments of the job is seeing that final product, like ready to ship, like, yeah, I helped make that.
Yes.
So yeah, seeing some idea become a product is one of the best parts being in tech.
Can you share an example or two of things you have done in or with tech that you are particularly proud of?
Well, one already I said, the solar panels, right? When I was in solar industry, the first time I saw the end product made, that was like, I felt very, very proud. Of course, there are other incidences as well, like getting in semiconductor manufacturing as well, getting a design that is from the design part, right? All the way to piloting, like getting the prototype ready, and then getting the prototype into the customer's hands. And then from the customer, because we made integrated circuits, we made wafer. So from there, going into actual products, like back then, example, like the first or second generation of the iPod, that was like, whoa, wow, there is a product in there that came from my previous work. So these are some of the moments that you're like, because the industry is so big and you play a part of it, but that part is actually significant.
Yeah. I can really feel a sense of achievement. Do you have any activities beyond your job that you would like to tell us about?
Sure. Just now when you made my introduction, right, that introduction is actually related to what I have been doing in the past 5-6 years, which is a lot of community building, a lot of making social impact. And this actually came also from extra activities outside of work that started many years ago. So as I said before, I was 20 years in semiconductor and electronics. But outside of work, I also like to connect with people, network with other people from different industries, different walks of life. And it became something that I enjoyed so much. And then the community became a network, and the network became a community. And I realized that, back to what I said, every person, do not think that you're insignificant. Actually, you're very significant, right? You can create impact. And that's how I slowly, as I developed, as I grew a little older, that I realized that people can make changes, people can help each other, and every individual can support each other in different ways, right? And community is so important. And even now, if we talk about the startup ecosystem, it's also a lot about community, helping each other. And that's why I've decided since last year to make this community building as well as making social impact part of my business. And that's why we have the Ladies Who Tech and also D&I Consulting. You might be thinking, hey, it's entirely different from being in a manufacturing facility. Like, what are you doing? I think this is also something that I really enjoy, and I would love to continue doing that as much as I can. And community building is also about running events that can get people together, and that's what I enjoy a lot. And these are, like, I would say, my favorite activities.
Yeah. I think you really talk about what you have learned from your path of the technology. Maybe what other lessons have you learned along the way that you like to share?
Oh, Judy, when I was a kid, right, people would say, oh, you are supposed to do this and this and this and this. And then when you grow older, you're going to do this, this, this. It's probably set in your mind that you have a timeline in life. And at a certain point in time, you need to do something about it. Study hard, get a degree, come out to work, find somebody, go get married, have kids, and moving on. So what I realized is there was a set timeline in my head. The working part is, okay, you're going to stay at this job for many, many years until you retire, right? And you're going to do this industry for many, many years until you leave. But actually, along the way, and I realized in life, there are, again, many challenges and many opportunities as well. We as individuals, we can move on to a different sector, different industry, different arena, right? Even move to a different country. I really didn't think that I would end up living in China, because back then I'm from Malaysia and I worked fairly shortly in Malaysia. And then before I moved to Singapore, I was there for 8 years. And then I've been here in Shanghai for 15 and a half years already. So what I've learned is, there will always be changes, and that changes actually help you to come to a decision point in life. And that's where you choose, right? And you don't have to stay in a particular situation. And for me, after 20 years in semiconductor and electronics, I realized that I can do something else, which is what I'm doing right now. So that's, like, maybe I would say one of the biggest life experiences or life education for me. I think the other thing is also, when I was younger, I thought that, there's a problem, then I couldn't solve it and I just get so upset. But every problem probably has a possible solution. And then if there's no solution, then, move on. Actually, moving on is the solution as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, right. Since this series is about girls and women in technology, do you have any tech advice for girls or younger women in tech?
Well, yeah, if you're really interested in something that's tech related or that's science related, well, science, tech, engineering, mathematics, right? STEM related. If you're really interested in it, I think you should pursue it. If it's your passion, then pursue it. But if you don't have passion for it and people tell you that you should have passion, don't do it either, because at the end of the day, it's really up to you, right? If it's up to the person whether, I'm going to pursue it no matter if it's difficult or easy. Or it's up to the person whether to do something and it's like, oh, because someone told me to do it and because I need to do it. Well, don't think that way. I mean, think of it as it's something that you like, you will enjoy. We have a tagline at Ladies Who Tech called Tech Has No Gender. And we should not let gender people tell you that because you're a girl, you can't go into tech, because tech can be fun. I mean, I was good at math. I hope I still am. And if you're good at it, so pursue it.
Yeah. Just follow your heart and what your passion is, so you go through passion.
And you know what, Judy, at the end of the day, maybe halfway through it, you say, someone might say, I don't really like it that much. Then okay, that's fine. Because you also, you tried it and you know that you didn't like it and you want to move on. Well, some people are going to say, you see, I told you not to do it. But then again, it's your own thinking, right? It's on your own priority, whether or not to pursue something. So why did you join this program? How did you come about joining this program?
Yeah, because although I'm a student of humanity and social science and I'm majoring in international studies, I have always liked technology. When I'm in my high school years, I'm looking forward to being able to engage in technology since that time. But because my mark is very low in these tasks, so I changed into the humanity and social science. But I always have a passion to know about the technologies and something about technologies. So I joined this program and I want to know about what the role leaders in these sectors, what they say and what they think.
Oh, that's really good. I think that's a good point that you brought out that I really want to talk a little bit about is that, sometimes what you study and what you like might not be in the same line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone could be really good at something at school, but may not practice it outside of school, or if someone is like, okay, not doing very well in school at a certain subject, but actually really passionate about it and can do like great things outside. So yeah, I think that's a very good point that you brought up. Since you said that you want to see what other leaders are thinking and their insights, right? How about yourself? What do you foresee the future or hope to see, with tech and women such as yourself getting into STEM or being very interested in STEM? What do you foresee in the future?
Yeah, I think I can see and I hope to see the development of technology in the future, and I think it will develop in the future. And I also hope to see, or I can see in the future, is many younger women or the girls they participate in technology, because I think maybe as the time passed, people will not consider what men or more men are participating in this technology, but girls can also make an outstanding achievements in the technology. And it's also what I hope to see.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you on this. I'm sure there are statistics out there that say that majority of products or apps, right, the founders are majority male, right, maybe 95%, and maybe 99% creators are male. But actually, consumer-wise, 75% of consumers are women, right? And why shouldn't there be more women developing products? Because women know what we want. We know what we want. So we should be able to create more products for ourselves. So it makes sense. And I do hope, like you said, I also hope to see more gender balance in the future in the tech, in the STEM field. And more women actually making more products for consumers, especially in the electronic field.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you engage with young people such as yourself? I mean, do you get them to join the program? Are there any activities that you can engage with younger women such as yourself?
I think we should go deep into the field of young people and understanding what they think. And I think it's a key. So we can truly understand the role of technology and bring the young people to stimulate their interest in the technology, and it can be more engaged maybe.
For sure. I think that sometimes events such as these online or even offline, right, if you can get people interested, young people, young adults such as yourself interested, I think it's also very helpful. So just now you asked me about challenges. I'm going to ask you back. What are the challenges that young people like yourself face these days?
As for me, I think the lack of support and encouragement maybe is the challenges, as I know, for the young adults. Because I think technologies, if you do some research, you must meet some difficulties maybe. And at this time, you should have some people, as you say, to help them and communicate with them, and we can overcome the challenges. And some parents, don't want their children, maybe they have some mind, they think maybe girls are not adapt to the technologies, maybe they have a gender bias, and maybe they not support them. And maybe this is a challenges and we will meet now.
Well, you know what? To be honest, the challenges that you face, also the challenges that my generation face. So it hasn't really change that much. But you brought out a good point again, is that we do need support. We need a support group. We need a network group. So having people value you and respect you and can help you is very important. And most importantly, I think I want to say that, you inspire each other. Like, see, this my background.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for young listeners out there, Judy?
Yeah, I really want to tell the young listeners at my age that not afraid of the hardships of the road ahead and just follow your passion. The difficulties are inevitable maybe, but we can form our direction and not forget our overall intentions for the technology and our passion for it. And I want to encourage young adults and girls like us to involve in technology. And we can also do some great achievements.
Yeah, very well said, Judy. I'm very inspired by young role models such as yourself, and I think there should be more of you out there.
Let's wrap up our session today for Talking Tech, Women and Girls in ICT. Thanks so much, Charlene. I really enjoyed our chat today. Thanks so much to our viewers for watching.